Welcome back to Rodecast, guys. Hope you're doing well out there. I'm your host, Rod, as always. And in this video, we're going to be looking at the aftermath of another beautiful ICE raid, this time in Pennsylvania, where a Mexican restaurant was actually raided. And the restaurant is busy crying on social media about how horribly this has hurt them. After hiring illegals, multiple 16 illegals were arrested there, and paperwork has been collected from their records that they were keeping at the store. So most likely the owners will also be indicted if the Justice Department can get direct evidence against them that they knowingly hired illegals. So they're busy crying about how mean ICE is and how the federal government is evil because they dared to administer federal law after this restaurant broke the law and hired illegals. They're now mad and crying that the federal government is actually bringing the law down on them, which is their job. Okay. Pennsylvania, by the way, one of the states that my ancestors settled in. I have family near Williamsport today. Even now, some of my family lives there from my dad's side. So I absolutely love Pennsylvania. And I wish my family had stayed in New England, but they left Delaware and Pennsylvania, other places where we have houses. And my great grandpa moved us to California. Big mistake, in my opinion, because I love the Northeast New England, where the original colonies were and where my ancestors settled in 1638. So I wish our family stayed there, but they moved here. So there you go. But nevertheless, I love Pennsylvania, and one of the many reasons I love it is because the taco invasion is not as bad as it is over here in Pennsylvania. It's mostly Germans and Dutch and Swedish people. So I feel very at home there. I've been there a couple of times when I was in the Navy and absolutely loved it.
Today, federal agents raided two local restaurants, one in Cranberry, the other in Richland Township, both of them locations of Emiliano's Mexican restaurant. After the raids, Emiliano's posted video on social media showing the damage they say federal agents left behind. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Ken Rice.
And I'm Christine Sorensen. Lauren Linder has reaction from Emiliano's and what ICE is saying tonight.
It's quiet now here at Emiliano's at the Richland Mall, but earlier it was surrounded by federal immigration officers. A spokesperson for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirming they detained multiple people from the location here in Richland Township and over in Cranberry.
Yeah, we are still here still.
Federal immigration officers search inside Emiliano's in Richland Township as they raid the restaurant. A snippet of it caught on camera.
I'm sorry, but this is wrong.
Why is she here?
Nidia.
How in the world is it wrong for the federal government to do its job after these restaurant owners hire illegals, exploit them, and pay them lower wages? The left, these are activists who are filming this, by the way, they are attacking the government after somebody else commits a crime. And the federal government comes to correct that and to punish the criminals and to ship out the criminals, the illegals plus the business owners. They're the attackers. They're the ones who are evil in the eyes of these activists. Okay, not the illegals who broke into our country, not the restaurant owners here who hired the illegals to exploit them and to make more money for themselves. No. It's ICE who's evil for actually addressing the wrong that has been done. Okay, this is the mentality of the left, and this is one of the reasons I left, stopped being a progressive, because they're insane. Okay, they don't believe in borders whatsoever. They think that any random person should be allowed by birthright to invade the country that my ancestors built and that George Washington built. Okay, this is the mentality of the left. They literally believe in open borders. They don't believe in sovereignty at all. How do you enforce any law if the countries don't have sovereignty? If everybody can just cross over into every single country? This is what they believe. This is not a practical or even a popular opinion among the world. Not just America, not just white people, but nobody wants to be invaded like that. Most people understand that their ancestors fought wars and died. Millions of their ancestors died in the past to maintain the border so they can have their way of life sustained in their land, that they can pass that down to their generations, to their children and their children's children, and have a culture, a sustained, unique culture. Every single country around the world believes this. Most people. Only the bleeding heart open borders left doesn't believe that. And especially when it comes to America, especially a country that was colonized by white people, they specifically hate people like me and my ancestors and the people who colonized this country, who built everything that these illegals are leeching off of. They built nothing. Okay, but they want to leech off everything that was built by the founders and their generation and people who came even before them, like my ancestors who've been here since the 1600s. Okay, these people have no respect for the people who actually built this country. They want to demonize the colonists and not giving any credit to the colonists who actually built everything that they're now living off of. They forget the past very quickly.
Oliver raced over when she learned what was happening. She's friends with many of the workers at the business.
Somebody inside told me that they were trying to open safes and open in the office all the drawers and violating all that private property.
Yeah, no, they weren't violating private property. These are criminals, and they had a search warrant to search the documents inside those drawers. Okay, which means, you know what that means? That means they weren't just going after the illegals, who have already been arrested. They're going after the owners themselves. They're trying to find direct evidence that ties the owners to the hiring of these illegals. That's what that means. And your last name is in no way Oliver. Okay, this one here, not an Oliver. Okay, I don't know where you got that last name, but that's not your last name. And she's an idiot, of course, there to support illegals. You're friends with illegals. Wow, why is that something to brag about? Why would you tell anybody that? Do you think we're gonna have sympathy because you, who also looks like an illegal, is friends with the illegals? No, we're gonna deport them and probably you if you're an illegal.
All the drawers and violating all that private property.
A spokesperson for ICE tells Katie
they also couldn't find a single person who can properly speak English. Okay, this woman could barely pronounce the words. You can find a single white woman over there who can properly speak English. It's Pennsylvania. I know they're around, and that's awesome. Okay, because sometimes you can't find any white women around in some of these states, especially the border states.
A spokesperson for ICE tells KDKA they executed search warrants at both this Emiliano's location and the one in Cranberry.
If you're executing search warrants, that means you're looking for something deeper than just the illegals. They already got the illegals. That means the owners are next. Okay, that's what that means. So multiple search warrants. That means they're looking for specific documents to tie the hiring of the illegals and probably other crimes to the owners. That's why the owners are so busy crying on social media, which we're getting to right now.
Where folks encountered a similar scene of police and unmarked vehicles. They say they had information the locations, quote, were employing illegal aliens and took 16 people into ICE custody.
They put a lot of effort into blocking off the entryways so that we could not see exactly what was happening.
Hey, they finally found a white woman who can speak English. Congratulations. Unfortunately, she's an open borders, bleeding heart person. I still love her, but, you know, hopefully she'll see soon that her position is the wrong one. I have nothing against her. Okay? I don't attack beautiful white women. I don't agree with their beliefs, but nevertheless, I still respect them because I don't care what your political beliefs are. People can change their minds anytime. I'm not going to go hard against them just because they have different opinions from me. Just 5 years ago, I was an open borders person. Political beliefs shift all the time, so we should respect people for who they are. Even if we disagree with their political beliefs. I might get mad at people on my channel, and I routinely do, but I'm not attacking the person like their physical being. I'm attacking their stupid ideas. That's what I'm getting mad at for the most part.
At both locations, several volunteers like Aaron Riley showed up from Casa San Jose, a nonprofit that serves the greater Pittsburgh area's Latino immigrants.
It is terrible to see this happening in the United States because all these people are honestly trying to make a living.
They have no right to make a living here. I don't know who told you that they have a right to invade my country and steal our jobs, but they don't have a right to do that. Okay, and you need to be deported out here along with them.
States because all these people are honestly trying to make a living.
On social media, Emiliano shared in a post that the agents, quote, stormed our restaurants in a show of force that went far beyond anything reasonable or humane.
Who are you to determine that? That's up to a judge to determine and for the federal agents who do the raids. You're the ones who broke the law by hiring illegals, and now you are the arbiters of what is reasonable? Please.
Didn't just detain people. They raided the heart of our business, tore through our spaces, and left behind a trail of fear, confusion, destruction.
Maybe you shouldn't have had committed federal immigration crimes. Then you might have been able to avoid the trail of fear and confusion if you just stopped hiring illegals to make more money. There's an idea, something you might want to try out after you get out of prison.
They went on to say, our kitchens were flipped, our walk-ins emptied, food trashed, doors broken, and we are standing.
If you're a Mexican restaurant, you're already trash. So they couldn't have done much damage to what already existed.
And we are standing by our team, working with legal experts and community partners to support the people impacted.
You can get all the support you want. Your beloved illegal workers are going back to Mexico or wherever they came from. And if they found evidence tying you to the hiring of those illegals, you are looking at going to federal prison. So I would get off of Instagram and focusing on hiring a good lawyer, because you're going to need it once ICE gives the evidence over to the DOJ and the Justice Department in Pennsylvania files criminal charges against you for hiring illegals for immigration crimes. Okay, so instead of crying about this to the news, I would focus on an attorney. That would be what I would be focusing on right now if I were the owners of this business.
Emiliano says they will reopen their restaurants. A timeline to do so remains unclear.
Yeah, they're not going to be reopening anything anytime soon if most of their workers were arrested in 2 different restaurants. That's just nonsense, unless they hire more illegals. Most likely, like I said, if they were looking for documents and other records aside from the illegals themselves, that means that the Justice Department there, with the help of Homeland Security and ICE, are building a bigger criminal case against them. As we discussed on the channel last month, multiple businesses have already been raided, and the owners have either been prosecuted or they're being investigated right now. And this is no exception. So it's all around the country where ICE is not just going after the illegals, which they are, they're also going after the business owners, which is a very important development and a departure from Obama's administration, Biden's administration, of course, and the first Trump administration, where they went after some, but not as many as we're seeing right now. So they're actually beating out, the second Trump administration is actually beating the first Trump administration in their enforcement against illegals. And I could not be more happy. Okay, so that's all I got to say for this video. Great to see this happening in Pennsylvania. We need more ICE in Pennsylvania because we need to clean up that state as well. Although it's pretty clean to begin with because we don't have a taco invasion there like we have in California. But nevertheless, it's always to get as many of these people out as possible. I support it 100%. And that's all I got to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll see you guys in my next one. Have a great day.